These are some of the craziest warlords in all of history. You see, there have been a lot of crazy leaders over the years, and it all starts with a man called Braxton Bragg. Now, this guy was no newbie when it came to leading soldiers during battle. Like, for example, the Kentucky campaign, which he lost, or the Battle of the Stone River, which he also lost, or the Battle of Chickamauga, which was a huge win actually for Bragg's party, but then he flipped off some generals and was kicked out of his position. Now, at one point during this guy's career, he was in control of 2 different positions at a military post, and that itself wasn't really weird at the time, but what old Brax did with his troops was never seen before. So Braxton was both a company commander and a quartermaster at the exact same time, which meant that he was in charge of keeping track of the soldiers as his first role, and for his other role, keeping track of supplies. And while he was stationed at a post, he formally requested more supplies and food as the company commander, which was sent to the quartermaster, who was him in his other role. Upon very close review and careful consideration, Braxton decided that at his own request it was inappropriate and unauthorized according to regulations, so he refused his own request in his official capacity. Braxton, in his role of the company commander, then repeated the order, saying that he really needed the supplies, and when he had to respond as the quartermaster, you guessed it, he again denied the request with the exact same reason. It escalated to the point where Braxton was accusing himself of refusing to follow orders, and he placed himself under arrest and reported the issue to his superiors. His superiors already knew that Braxton was batshit crazy, so they kind of played along with him, but the incident was kind of just shoved under the carpet in order to not have Braxton go crazy. If this guy was seen by any modern psychiatrist, he would be probably diagnosed with bipolar or schizophrenia. It's not hard to see why. You see, submarines are usually pretty stealthy. They kind of just sit there and wait for enemy ships to come by so they can shoot them down with torpedoes. Well, apparently one submarine captain did not agree with this tactic. Meet Eugene Lucky. This guy was a captain of the USS Barb for a while, and this ship built an insane reputation while he was in lead. For starters, the ship got recorded for sinking the most tonnage of enemy ships ever, which is in itself pretty crazy record. But things got a whole lot crazier when our man Flucky started getting bored with waiting for enemy ships to come to him. You have to understand that the Navy only allow a captain to serve around 4 war patrols, since they were concerned that a captain would become either too cautious or too reckless after too much time. So when his 4th war patrol was coming to a close, Flucky decided it was time to leave his legacy, so he literally just started crashing his 800-ton submarine into enemy ships, causing them to sink. But even doing this became boring for Flucky. So on January 28th of 1945, Eugene ordered the submarine to go through a shallow minefield into an enemy harbor with 30 ships in it. In total, they fired 8 torpedoes into enemy ships and got the record for the most tonnage in a single day, which pretty much means they sunk the most amount of metal from any ship ever. And then they literally just turned around as if it was nothing. For this insane achievement, Flucky got a Medal of Honor, which brings a perfect close to his legacy, right? Well, no, this guy was just getting started. He wanted to serve a 5th war patrol, so he went up to the highest person in command and just said, "Hey, I know that there's a rule I can only serve 4 times, so I don't go absolutely bat crazy, but can I do a 5th one?" "Nah, mate, those rules are there for a reason. We don't want to take any unnecessary risk." "But did you see what I did in the harbor though? I was pretty sick." "Actually, yeah, that was pretty sick." And so he set out on his 5th war patrol. Immediately after getting his 5th patrol, he started begging for rocket launchers to be installed into the submarine, which they somehow agreed to. So the USS Barb set out on a final war patrol, now being able to shoot at people on land with their rocket launchers. They started taking down enemy factories and other important buildings, being the first submarine to ever take down an enemy building from the water. But this was still not enough for Flucky. Take a look at this flag. This thing shows everything that the USS Barb took down. Did anyone notice that there's a fucking train on it? The USS Barb decided that spawn killing supply ships after leaving the harbor was for noobs, so they decided to go right to the source. They literally blew up a train full of supplies before it could even make it to enemy ships to supply it. But if they wanted to get close enough to the shore to do it from the submarine, they would probably get caught. So they sent a bunch of sailors on a small raft to rig the train tracks with explosives so the next train would go, well, kaboom. This trick made them the first and only group of Allied soldiers to successfully invade the mainland of Japan. Both of these guys weren't very open about the fact that they were, well, absolutely insane. And that's where this next warlord is very different. Starting with the fact that this guy's nickname is General Butt Naked, and the fact that he killed over 20,000 children. This guy claims that when he was 11, the devil contacted him with a special mission. Now, General Butt Naked, whose real name is Joshua, didn't receive his message by some weird telepathic message, or a text written in sand. Nope. The devil just gave our guy Josh a ring on the old telephone and said, "Hey, can you go kill these children and eat their hearts? Oh, and do it fully naked because I'm like the devil, I don't know. So Joshua would from that moment only wear shoes, and this newness was supposed to act as some supernatural shield against bullets. But then sometimes they would just instead wear women's dresses, saying that the dresses would confuse the bullets. Who were of course designed to only kill men. Now after killing over 20,000 innocent children, these fun coke snorting pranksters were sent to trial because of like murder. Because of this trial, Josh found God and became a pastor. A happy ending after all. But hey, at least our friend Butt Naked didn't order an artillery strike on his own troops, like the next guy on our list, Sir William Erskine. William was a British army officer known for his overall weirdness and his questionable tactics of choice. Starting with the fact that this guy ordered a bombardment on his own troops at one point, because during the Battle of 1811, while Willie mistook the position of a French army and his own army. And because of this, he ordered an artillery bombardment that ended up blowing up his own troops, while at the same time he ordered a cavalry strike in the direction of its own troops. William's superiors were also aware of his weird behavior, so when they heard about the friendly fire, they just said, "Yep, that sounds like our Willie, alright." And he never faced any serious consequences for the murder of his own troops. But this wasn't the only military blunder. I mean, this guy somehow lost his own troops while marching. You see, during the Venezuelan War, William ordered a night march without proper planning, which led the troops to lose their way and being stranded in the middle of nowhere. And even when this guy was following orders, he could somehow screw up. Like during the retreat of Corunna in 1809, where William was in charge of a cavalry during the retreat. His goal was to make sure that the army can safely retreat back to friendly ground. But William often misinterpreted orders or straight up just didn't follow them, which led to the chaos of the battlefield and unneeded death of a lot of his soldiers. Overall, this guy was really insane as he could never make decisions that he stood by, as he often switched strategy mid-fight or delayed orders to his men. He's also known to have behaved really inappropriately to others, often having mood swings or even making up inappropriate or nonsense comments during serious discussions. William died by jumping out of a window, and as he was dying on the ground, he said, "Now, why did I do that?" And William wasn't the only one who was definitely not fit to be a military leader. As another example is Gideon Pillow. This guy had literally no military experience when he got appointed by the general by his friend. And so his adventures began. Pillow was sent to Mexico with a group of volunteer soldiers, and when they arrived at their destination, Pillow started arguing with the person about him in command. So his higher officials stole his troops and went into battle and left Pillow alone in the camp with a few soldiers. Pillow then ordered his remaining men to build fortifications for the camp, which they did facing the wrong way, so they were completely useless. But when it was finally time to go into battle, Pillow didn't do much better. He was ordered to send a secondary attack on the target's right position. But instead, Pillow chose to ignore this and instead targeted the enemy's center position. He screwed up so bad it cost the lives of the majority of his men, and Pillow was sent home where he started drinking a lot and bragging about his military skills. But returning soldiers would always say that he was lying and full of it. But this wasn't the full story of Pillow, however, as he went back into combat, now promoted as a major general. He was tasked to defend a fortress that was under heavy attack. But when they started losing the battle, he was told by literally every single person and officer there to retreat, which he told them no. He kept on defending the castle while people were telling him to retreat, costing thousands of lives in the process. He did at one point decide to leave, but he did it in the dead of night with only a few of his troops, leaving the others to die without knowing where their leader went. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, watch the one on screen. YouTube thinks you'll like it. We do too. It's a pretty good video. Bye bye!